Longmire is a pretty serious show most of the time, but between all the mystery and all the intrigue, there are still a lot of light moments. You don't always see them coming, and that is what makes it really fun. They creep up on you. Today we'll look at some of the funniest moments from Longmire and even check out a few behind the scenes facts. Warning, mild spoilers ahead. All the moments between Walt and Henry. These are two of our favorite guys from this series. I don't know about you, but I just love watching their relationship and how they work together. They're serious men and they both live by a serious code. It can get a bit heavy at times, but that's what makes the fun moments even better. They're like brothers, but even brothers fight. The one-liners and sarcastic humor between the two is honestly one of my favorite parts of the show. The two actors really play off each other well. Like the moment when Walt was dragging a super injured Henry to safety, but then he gets bitten by a snake. He's in big trouble, and Henry, who could hardly stand up, said in a dry tone of voice, "Better get you to the hospital." Or the times that Longmire installed a deadbolt on Henry's door and he just walked into his home. He tells Henry that it doesn't really help if he doesn't use it, and Henry replies that next time he can maybe install a doorbell too. Then there's the one of my personal favorites where Walt keeps insisting that Henry tase him, but when he eventually complies, Walt just drops. He did keep asking. The author and all his input. One behind the scenes secret is just how much input they allowed the author Craig Johnson, who wrote the Walt Longmire mystery book series, which the show is based on, to have. Normally, a creator of a television series takes a set of books and they get a writer to sign over the rights to make it. Then they can do pretty much whatever they want with the characters and the stories. Sometimes it works, sometimes it fails miserably. If you look at the amount of fans that Longmire has, then it's safe to say that this one worked incredibly well. That might just be because they allowed the creator of these characters to have some say in the show. They gave him a lot of say when it came to casting some of the biggest characters. Sounds like Robert Taylor was his pick for Walt Longmire, and the show went with it. Some of the small gestures Taylor made, like a certain way he lifted his hat, sold him as the perfect Walt. Johnson also helped pick Henry. Lou Diamond Phillips put in a lot of research and thought on the little details from the book that made Henry such a special character, like how he spoke. It worked, and with Craig Johnson's stamp of approval, he got the job. Do you think someone else would have been a better fit for these characters? Let us know in the comments who your pick would have been. Walt and his Ford Bronco. Another great source for loads of jokes is the fact that Walt Longmire is a real semi-modern cowboy. He just forgets about the modern part at times. The show is a modern western, but they have a lot of jokes around Walt, especially when it comes to his Bronco. The jokes about his truck being his horse are pretty funny. Then there are all the action-packed moments he really leans into the cowboy persona, like one of the moments when they're going into a fight and Henry and Walt joke about the whole cowboy thing. A lot of great jokes come from the skit, and especially because it is just who the character is. All the times when technology is the enemy. Walt Longmire is an old school as it can possibly get, and he does not embrace change easily. That's probably why he is such a big issue when it comes to technology and using it. Sure does not come easy for him, and some comedy gold in the series comes from Walt's love-hate relationship with technology. The times that people joke when they see him working behind a computer, or the times that he is shocked when his phone actually does what it's supposed to do. It can all be pretty funny. Here is this really big, strong guy who walks into the line of fire without a second thought, but he's scared to work with a little piece of tech. It's like watching your great-grandparents trying to figure out a smartphone. If your great-grandparents were amazing shots and just plain awesome, I just love Walt, and the fact that he has had any type of fear just makes him more human to me. And besides this, is a very on-point issue to have. Could you even imagine if Walt was some sort of tech genius that was kind of a hacker type person? Yeah, me either. It wouldn't work. But what does work are all the jokes at his expense because he can't figure it all out. Some of the best funny moments from the show and some really incredible behind the scenes facts are still to come. Who are your favorite characters from the show, and are there any moments you always remember? Let us know in the comments section. We'd love to hear from you. We're still going to check out moments between Vic and Walt and why Walt holsters his gun like he does. Plus, so much more. Let's go. The traffic. Even small country roads could still have traffic, but they can just make those moments very funny. When Vic and Walt are transporting a really bad guy over county lines, they want to do it quickly and get him out of their jurisdiction. But they have to contend with some of the traffic in the state. A big and really angry bull is standing in the road and he has no plans to budge. When When Vic tries to get out to chase him off, it just aggravates him more. It was pretty funny. And that wasn't the only one that they joked about this special brand of traffic they had on the show. There were a few times with horses or other animals that they still made a funny comment. I must say, that is the type of traffic I'd love to have. The way Walt carries his gun. This is a pretty interesting behind the scenes fact. The way Walt carries his pistol is not the standard way to do it. Normally with condition 1, it's inserted in the holster, round chambered and hammered cocked, with the safety on. But Walt carries his in condition 2, with the piston inserted in a round chambered but with the hammer down. Some have said that it's because Walt just doesn't like to shoot without thinking. He wants to be sure when he does it. In the split second that cock and the hammer gives him time to think, be sure that shooting is really necessary. Of course, it could all just be for a dramatic effect. Just looks really cool when he cocks the hammer first. Something the writers and props department have had to thought of when having him carry his gun like that. Why do you think he holds it like that? Let me know. The humor and chemistry between Vic and Longmire. We all know Longmire is super hard-headed and stubborn, and he needs a woman that won't put up with too much of his nonsense. Enter Deputy Sheriff Victoria Moretti, a woman that is just as stubborn and just as strong as Walt. Two of them are perfectly matched, and even if it took them forever to figure that out on their own, they gave us all hours of entertainment up to that point. When he's being stubborn, she just rolls with it, like when he needs to take medicine and spits it out. Vic just calmly stops to pick it up. It was really funny. Made Longmire look like a bratty kid. Another great moment between them was when Vic kissed Longmire. Then he collapses, and the first thing he says when he wakes up is to ask her if she's going to kiss her again. It was so funny, and also really Walt. We all know that you would not mind her kissing you over and over again. They tried to keep as many details authentic as possible. One behind-the-scenes secret is the amount of detail they tried to put into the show to make it authentic. They're working with people and cultures here, and it's important to make sure that these people are satisfied by the authenticity when it comes to their culture. That's why the show hired experts to help with details. Creators went to great lengths, and Lou Diamond Phillips also went to a lot of trouble to get to know the tribe he was representing and to make them proud. And he clearly did. The Cheyenne people made him an honorary member while he played Henry. I just love Longmire and really hope they make a movie or something else to just give us all a little bit more. Would you watch that? Thanks for watching.